For 48, we have 3 problems to do some practice with. So we're asked to solve each of these for for theta. What is the angle theta? Okay, so let's take a look at A. Do that one over here. So we could add 1 to both sides, right? And if you add 1, this cancels out, so you get 2 sine of theta. 0 plus 1 is going to be 1. So I've just added 1 to both sides, and this is our new formula. We would then divide both sides by 2, because that's what's happening. We're multiplying by 2. So we're trying to isolate the sine theta. And so we get that sine of theta equals 1/2. Again, we've got that the angles that we're looking for between 0 and 2 pi. We take the inverse sine of both sides. And when you take the inverse of a function, it undoes what the other, so inverse of a function means that they undo each other. So this is just going to be theta is the inverse sine of 1/2. So what does that mean? It means that we need to look for an angle that has a sine value of 1/2. Well, we can do that by a couple ways. Watch, we'll look here. Sine is going to be the y value, and so there is a 1/2 here at pi over 6. However, well, there's a negative 1 over there. And remember, pi goes from inverse sine goes from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So it's this part of the circle. So for what the information we have to say it's going to be pi over 6 or 30 degrees. So do they want angles? Well, they want them in radians. So for this one, we would say theta equals pi over 6. Okay. And we'd see where's all the places that could happen. It actually could also be over here. So we see that we get a positive 1/2 here for the y value. We could also say it's 5 pi over 6. Again, that's not in the, it wouldn't come up in the calculator because the inverse sine is set up just to go from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So just this part of the circle. But just to show you, we could put in here, second, we'll do the inverse sine of 1/2, 1 divided by 2, put 0.5 if you wanted to. And since we're in degree mode, we should see 30 degrees, which we do. If we were in radian modes, we'd see the decimal equivalent of pi over 6, which again, for these, you can list that as pi divided by 6. You would see that the decimal equivalent would be this. So let's look at this B part. And again, all we have to really do here is divide both sides by 2. Right, so that's going to cancel, divide by 2. So we get that the cosine theta equals square root of 3 over 2, and it's positive. So we take the inverse cosine, because in a function and its inverse cancel each other out. We have to do it to both sides, right? So we get that theta is equal to the inverse cosine square root of 3 over 2. And again, we can come over and look at the unit circle, and what we're looking now is for where x is square root of 3 over 2. Whoa, it's also pi over 6. Or again, in this case, it could be, well, no, it can't be 5 pi over 6 because that's a negative. Notice that's negative 3 square root of 3 over 2. So we have either pi over 6 or down here 11. So, but again, cosines only defined, the inverse cosines only defined from 0 to pi. So here we are again, 30 degrees, pi over 6. And finally, let's look at this last one. We would subtract 4 from both sides. So then we're going to get 2 sine of theta is equal to negative 1, 3 minus 4. Divide both sides by 2. That'll cancel. So we have the sine theta equals negative 1/2. And again, the way we figure out this, so we're looking what angle of theta gives a sine of negative 1/2. We can figure out that with an inverse sine. Right? So we get that theta is equal to the inverse sine of 1/2. So that means we go to the unit circle, we look up, actually negative, we look up negative 1/2 for a y value. See a y value here, 11 pi over 6, but the way they do this to make it continuous with sine is we call this negative pi over 2. So we want the negative angle. If we went this way, that's negative pi over 6. Negative pi over 6. Now, what I will show you is I'm going to switch it back to radian mode. And we're going to find the inverse sine of negative 1/2. And what we're going to see is it's going to be negative 0.5235, this same decimal equivalent, but it's going to be a negative, telling us that's negative pi over 6. And there it is, negative pi over 6. Okay. So that is for 48.